You're in for a really big treat. In fact, I may say the world's biggest treat if you're into innovation and technology. I'm here in Hyderabad, and this is called the T-Hub 2.0. This building is the world's largest innovation campus. I mean, it says it right here, the world's largest innovation campus. And I'm not kidding. This is a massive, massive project. This is 3.5 lakh square feet. And every single square inch inside is all about startups. It's a foundry, it's about innovation, it's about taking tech to the next level. So I want to show you all of this, and then I have to show you so much more that's happening inside. Let's get started. Come. So inside, what we're going to actually see is a lot of startups. Today is actually the inauguration. We're going to see a lot of things that are happening inside. We're going to meet up with startups. We're going to meet up with founders of companies. We're going to find out how the entire Telangana government and the Chief Minister and KTR are all part of this fantastic project. Because, like I said, this is the world's biggest innovation center. And that is never an easy proclamation to make. So lots of amazing things are going to be happening inside. Let's get started. This, like I said, is the treat of the century. So we're here right now, and that's the hub that they have at the launch of T-Hub 2.0. Like I said, it's a massive space. And today they've got pretty much everybody. You know, they've got lots of founders, CEOs, startups out here, a lot of unicorns out here, which we will actually meet. But right now there's Rana inside, Rana Dugopati. I think he's having a little bit of a chat with everybody out here.
Congratulations to every single one. There's been over $4 billion that's coming to the Hyderabad ecosystem. There's been over 1,200 startups.
Interesting thing is that even he now is a startup founder. He's also an investor. He's also an entrepreneur, which I think the entire world is right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a quick tour of the T-Hub, and then I have the interview that I've been waiting for, and so should you. How do you turn startups into unicorns? You bring them to the world's largest innovation hub and give them the best of everything they need, all under one roof. This is the T-Hub 2.0, a complete innovation ecosystem that is bridging the gap between visionary entrepreneurs and corporates seeking the next big idea. T-Hub 2.0 is creating the synergy between startups, corporations, government, academia, and investors to drive transformative change. This is where you will find mentorship, thought leadership, investment opportunities, a critical mass of talent, government support, enabling ideation, corporate implementation, and regulation clarity. Partnering the government of Telangana and incubating the next generation of Indian startups are IIT Hyderabad, ISB Hyderabad, and Nelsar. So it doesn't matter whether you're a startup, a well-established corporate entity, or somewhere in between. T-Hub 2.0 has something for anyone interested in next-gen innovation. So I promised you that we're going to be speaking to the minister himself, KT Rama Rao. You know, now I call you KTR, so very difficult for me to do the entire thing. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of it. That's fine, right? That's
absolutely.
How we go.
You can call me Ram as well.
All right, so that's the way we have to go about today. And I said that this is going to be a special treat and an incredible show because, you know, I have to say, I've spent a lot of time with him, and he's a man that has dreams, turns them into vision, and then turns them into reality. And there are quite a few stories and anecdotes we'll talk about today. But I want to start off first by congratulating you. You know, when I was told, Rajiv, come down, we're doing this T-Hub 2.0, and I was told about, you know, the magnitude, the expanse, how big, the world's largest innovation hub, and this. I was like, yes, you know, sounds like it. But this is one of those rare occasions where the entire thing has lived up not just to expectations, but surpassed it by a magnitude of maybe 100x. Just take us through what all is this? I mean, there are 3 different areas, 2 of them coming up right now. Can you take us through?
No, very kind of you, Rajiv, because, you know, what you just said, I think is a huge compliment. Thank you to you, NDTV, and what you guys have been doing also in terms of supporting Indian startups, tech startups, hardware and software, etc., is something truly commendable. Thank you actually for paying a visit. Now the campus that you see here, the entire 18 acres of spread, will be the world's largest innovation campus. Now this is T-Hub. One piece of it is T-Hub. The entire built-up of T-Hub is about 5,80,000 square feet, and then out of which the carpet area is about 370,000 square feet. It's not just about the size of a building, or it's not just about the enormity of it, but what T-Hub offers is basically, this is the government of Telangana being an enabler, being a driver of the innovation culture in my state, in India. In fact, T-Hub is not just for startups from Telangana. We are building it up as a platform for young Indians from across the world. And in fact, when we launched T-Hub about 7 years ago in 2015, it obviously became a huge point, and it became a role model. Niti Aayog actually mentioned it, and they've asked other states to emulate it. But now this one will be the world's largest, and I'm a firm believer that next generation is going to be about next generation of enterprises, and next spurt of innovation, next spurt of employment will come from innovators, and next spurt will come from companies which have global ambition, which have global aspiration. After COVID, especially in the last couple of years, I think one thing that has come to the fore is that geographies do not matter. If you have a product, if you have a service which is world class, which is comparable to the best in the world, then certainly you can dream big, think big, and come out with world-class ideas. So this facility will not just be having some cool interiors, chic interiors, and good workspaces, but it will also have mentoring support, it will also have venture capital relations, and it will also have, most importantly, policy advocacy from the government itself. For example, when there are emerging technologies, when there are evolving areas, a lot of times even governments are confused. For example, when e-commerce came into India for the first time, tax departments in the government were confused. You need somebody to hold your hand, walk you through the vagaries of the unknown. And that's what government of Telangana will offer you.
So, first and foremost, once again, you did say magnitude sometimes doesn't matter, but I think here it shows how much it does, because, you can house, 2,000 startups here?
Yes.
Just the energy of that in itself, I think, is just astounding, and I cannot even imagine what this will eventually lead to. But there's more, right? This is one part of it. I saw a building you were pointing out to me before the cameras rolled, T-Works. And then there's another building that is in construction, which may be the world's biggest in a completely different manner.
Absolutely.
Can you take us through those two?
This entire campus is about 18 acres, and what we have, in the form of T-Hub is one piece of it. Right. Then we also are, in fact, launching India's largest prototyping facility for anybody who's interested in products. For example, I know you do Gadget Guru, and you're very, you make us all, of course, you get us all excited about new gadgets in the market, and all the smart, cool things that product companies do. Now, any youngster in India who's interested in wanting to do a prototype of his idea, T-Works is your place.
You mean hardware? Because prototypes is hard.
Absolutely, hardware prototype, and now that is what T-Works is about, and it will be up and running in August. And it's about, again, 110,000 square foot of facility. It will have a lot of 3D printers. It will have a lot of new age gadgetry, which will help you create prototypes. And once you have a prototype, I think you can, basically take it to market. And if there is appetite in the market, you can always scale up. The third piece, I think that's even more exciting, is Rajiv, if you look at how the Indian films are doing across the globe, and how the films from Telugu and South are also doing across India, what you would realize is, how Korean dramas are being lapped up in India. If you look around, what you'd realize is that, audiences across the world have a universality in terms of, in terms of appeal, in terms of content and what they love. Now, what we're trying to do with Image is innovation in animation, multimedia, gaming and entertainment. Now, Hyderabad can actually become the hub, India can become the hub for visual effects companies, for multimedia companies, for gaming companies, for animators. That is what Image Tower is. Image will be another 1.6 million square foot facility.
1.6 million?
Million, about 16 lakh square feet. So 16 lakh there, 5.8 lakh here, 1.1 lakh there. In 18 acres of this, you'd have nearly 2.4, I think, 2.2, 2.3 million square foot of space where you'd have enough youngsters working, talking, synergizing, synthesizing new ideas, new products. I think it is going to make it really, really exciting for all of us to, come out with some really, truly products with global appeal.
When did this come to your mind? Why was this created? What's the objective here? I know that this story goes back a while, so I'd love to hear where this whole thing started off from, because we've reached an incredible milestone today.
Rajiv, there's a bit of a drama around it. The drama is, the state of Telangana was formed after a protracted struggle. Our Honorable Chief Minister, who was the leader of the movement for statehood, struggled for about 14 years before the state came into being. The struggle was sometimes a bit noisy, so let me put it that way. And then what happened is, after 14 years, when the state was formed in June 2014, there was lots of doubts, lots of apprehensions around what would happen to the IT ecosystem, what would happen to all the enterprises here. Would there be discrimination based on region, or other kinds of partisan governance, etc. But what has happened is, in June 2014, on this exact day, on the 28th of June, I was the Minister for Information Technology, and I had to give the confidence to the industry here. So we had a big meeting with about 500-600 of the top entrepreneurs of the state and my city. In trying to give comfort to them, I came out with the idea that India, if you look at the next couple of decades, has no choice but to focus on innovation. We are an extremely young nation. 65% of our population is less than the age of 35. I think we have both crossed that bridge.
Yes,
but,
true.
50% of our country is less than the age of 27. So therefore, one of the things we thought of is, this next generation is very, very ambitious. They are not content in being the back office of the world. So we decided that we'll focus on innovation in a big way, unlike any other state, unlike any other city.
So now the part that the part that is very interesting, it was anyway my question, but you structured it for me better, is that you spoke about Bangalore, you spoke about France, right? Most of what happened in Bangalore was all organic.
Yes, it was despite government.
Yeah, okay, a good way to put it. But it's true, it was all organic. It was, I think, more the effort of the people behind it, the startups and everything else. This is one of the world's first times that it is so brilliantly strategized and structured, right? Where will this go? What would make you happy 5 years from now? Where is it normal value metrics, or is it unicorn metrics? Do you want unicorns to come out of here? Do you want world changers to come out of here? What would give you satisfaction that the dream and vision you saw when the Telangana state was being formed is now forming and taking shape here?
Rajiv, in 2014, when the state was formed, when we assumed office, the IT exports from Telangana were 57,000 crores of rupees. The IT exports are now at 183,000 crores, 1,83,000 crores. It is almost a 240% jump. And the number of employees has jumped from 3,20,000 to about 8 lakhs now. Again, that's a humongous jump.
So it's literally been like you were a startup and now you're a unicorn.
Absolutely. I call my state the startup state of India. The most, in fact, I would call my state the most successful startups of independent India. That's what I keep saying. The reason is, not just on the tech space, we've grown on every single front. Our per capita back in 2014 was 1,24,000 rupees. Now it's 2,78,000 rupees. Our GSDP was 5 lakh crores. Now it's 11.55 lakh crores. So the state has been excelling on everything. Now, going back to your question about what would give me, or what would give us the satisfaction of doing all this, I think it's a combination of all three. India, with its growth trajectory, has been doing rather well. But I think what's more important for us to understand, Rajiv, is out of the 100 plus unicorns that we have, how many of them actually have earth-shattering ideas or products or services of global appeal? I'd say very few. How many of them are profitable? 18%. So the question that I would ask myself is, would I be happy having more unicorns? Of course, yes. But I would be even more happier if there are startups from Hyderabad which come out with sustainable ideas, sustainable business ideas, which are not just about raising a Series A or a Series B fund, but more importantly about creating value, creating long-term return for the investors, and more importantly employment from a state perspective. So of course I want unicorns and decacorns and sunicorns and everything else, but I want to focus on products and services that can offer value to the rest of the globe as well, and also create a spurt of employment. For example, Hyderabad has some solid strengths in medical electronics and defense electronics. Would I want some companies to come in and do more? Absolutely yes, because I think as we see this whole Atmanirbhar Bharat, the self-reliant campaign, we need to realize that more and more of these also have to happen in India.
Right.
And if you look at the mobility sector and how it is shaping up, now what is an automobile, what is an electric vehicle now? It's nothing but a computer on four wheels.
It's like I call EVs just gadgets on wheels.
Absolutely, it's a gadget on wheels. So therefore, when you know it's a gadget on wheels, then you have to realize that it has a lot of embedded electronics and a lot of coding.
Right.
Now that is Hyderabad's strength. If you look at next spurt of growth in healthcare, it is going to be digital. Digital health is what is going to really be the, when you and I have a problem health-wise, I think we'd be sending our records electronically to somebody somewhere in the world. They'd come back to us, talk virtually, possibly also engage in telemedicine, or even go to the next level and perform a surgery aided by robotics. So that is the future. IoT, AI, ML. Now, when you think of all that, how many Indian companies have really come out with products and services which have brought about a paradigm shift in healthcare in the world, or which have brought about a paradigm shift in mobility? Not many. I would hope and pray that Hyderabad becomes that epicenter, because we also have a center for robotics, a center for cybersecurity, we have a drone policy, we've been doing some really cool things in AI and ML, and we are doing something in mobility at Telangana Mobility Valley. So a combination of all this, and not just a unicorn, but a company from Hyderabad going to the world and saying, listen, this is a made in Hyderabad product, and this is something that really is going to change the world. I think that is what will make me happy.
Okay, 2 or 3 very quick questions. I always like to close with what we call a quick fire round,
Sure.
right? So of course one of them is going to be personal. You always know, you know I always do that. But if someone watching, now millions of people are going to be watching this, right? If someone says, this is a dream, a startup, a founder sitting there, a young person who's thinking and dreaming right now, maybe in school, 8th standard, right? If that person wants to come in here, what is it that's I've heard that this entire space is not just about helping like a typical incubator, but a lot more. There's academia involved. You said government is involved out here. Is it anybody that can come in here with a great idea?
Yes.
and go through whatever is the process and can be part of it? Is that what you encourage, or is it a tough space to get in?
The philosophy we've espoused, and the motto we've always preached is innovate, incubate, incorporate. And that's been our slogan in Telangana. But more importantly, I think what we ought to realize is innovation does not happen either only in big cities, or it is not confined only to the rich kids or to the privileged. Innovation is of various hues and shades. So what we encourage is innovation in multiple forums. If we have T-Hub is one facet of it. We have V-Hub, which is the Women Entrepreneurs Hub. We have Agri-Hub, which is for farmers and agri-tech. We also have a TSIC, the Telangana State Innovation Cell, that goes to the schools and works with the schools, and we throw a school innovation challenge. We catch our youngsters rather young, pull out any innovation that comes from rural or social, on the social side, bring them up, and bring them to T-Hub, bring them to our task center, and actually nurture them. More importantly, I think innovation should have a global appeal. So if a youngster who's not just from India but also from the US or Israel wants to come to the large Indian market and explore, T-Hub can be that gateway for you to come in, and vice versa.
Right.
If an Indian youngster wants to go to the US market or to a European market, we also provide that kind of a gateway, that kind of a bridge. But most importantly, I think what would a youngster need? You have an idea for a product or a service, but you don't know what to do with it. What we do is, even if you're rough around the edges, you can come in, you can walk in with an idea, walk out with a product or a service. We'll nurture you, we'll groom you, we'll mentor you, we'll also aid you get some funding support. As long as the idea has merit, as long as the product or service has merit, उसमें अगर आइडिया में अगर दम है तो दुनिया को रोकने की किसी को आपको रोकने की ताकत नहीं है. वी वांट टू क्रिएट दैट प्लेटफॉर्म, बी दैट इनेबलर फॉर यू. यहाँ तक आपको लाएंगे, यहाँ से आप आपके क्या बोलते हैं उसको, आप अपने अपने
the rest of it is going to be, fate as well as what else you put in out here.
Absolutely.
But listen, you heard it here first, right? Agar hai dam, so then T-Hub is the place to come.
Today's India is much different from what it was, say, about 15 years, 16 years ago when I was working. So I think, given a chance, would I go back in time and do something else? Possibly yes. But would I be successful? I don't know. Because back in the day, we didn't have this many opportunities, this many platforms. But I think now is the time when India is really booming. And I think it's for the youngsters of India to lap up all these opportunities and create wealth, not just for themselves, but also for the rest of the country.
No, I completely agree. I think you're more than incubator, more than innovator. I think this entire space is a nurturer. And I think some of the biggest ideas ever that will actually execute and go and change the world may just come from here. That is my prediction.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. As always, wonderful speaking with you. And we're doing 2 more. This is just part 1 of this series. We're doing 2 more. I'm going to do a complete run-through, a walk-through of this entire space. And I'm going to go and meet some of the startups.
You should, and there's plenty of good ones.
It's an incredible space. Thank you again. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
All right, that was quite a journey, quite an interview, but that then was just show 1. Next time I'm going to give you a complete tour of the T-Hub and everything else, and including T-Works on the outside, because this is a fascinating space that they're developing out here. And then in show 3, I'm going to take you to meet all the startups and all the founders and all the innovation that is actually brewing inside here. I'll see you in the next one.